And we're live.
Yeah, we're live.
We're recording. All that stuff. Hey guys, welcome to Middle Misstep. As always, I'm Will. That's Mike.
Yep. And 80 Savage.
And wait, no. That's wrong show.
No, I said Andy is Savage.
Oh, Andy is got you.
Did you see the text box?
No.
Of course, because RTFC will. And that is the running theme.
Today's theme is RTFC.
And Will RTFC.
Yeah, that's me, guys. If you didn't know, I'm Will. We covered this.
And he doesn't know how to read the cards.
No, I don't read cards, actually. I play stuff and tap things, and
this is why he can only win 9-man tournaments.
And then my opponents go, that's not how that works. And I go, wait a minute. Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure I read this card and it does this. And they're like, read that card again. And I'm like, okay, I'll prove you wrong. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, don't you need to besiege you for your Planeswalker deck? No.
Yeah, Beseiju for Planeswalkers is 100% reliable, dude.
Yeah, for a deck I play 0 instants and sorcery.
Yeah, I mean, dude, look, you gotta rock this stuff. It blows your opponent's mind. They say Beseiju, and they're like, whoa, what do I gotta watch out for? Mind blown. That's actually a land you can never tap for anything in your deck.
I mean, you can use the mana. It's just, if it's an instant or sorcery, it can't be countered.
Look, but so maybe if they don't RTFC, you like mind psych them out. They think that they can't counter your Planeswalker. If you're against me,
and then you play against good people.
Yeah, see, if you play against me and we're at a tournament, you have a Beseiju, you cast a Planeswalker with your Beseiju, I'm like, man, I can't counter it, that sucks.
Andy, here's the problem with that. If that judge is Will, he's going to get the ruling wrong every time.
No. Maybe. Nah, if I'm judging, I RTFC. That's about it.
That's because that's like 99% of the issues is RTFC.
Yeah, pretty much.
That or I forgot to deboard.
Judge, how does this work? Well, how does the card say? It says does do this. Well, did you do that? No. Well, there you go. Problem solved. Fix it. And then I'm on the other side of that. And then I go, Judge, I didn't read the card. And they go,
I'm bad at it.
And they go, yeah, you're... That happened a lot, actually, at the PBTQ. Mike and I went to a PBTQ this past Sunday.
Yeah?
Represent Team Mental Misstep. I was playing a really janky, fun homebrew. It wasn't super janky, actually. It was actually...
It was pretty much like just a straightforward, like, here's a control deck with Planeswalkers.
Yeah,
That's what you did. I mean...
Yeah, we kind of did Mardu control. One big mess up that we had is we didn't put Transgress the Minds on the sideboard.
Yeah.
Got hosed. It's okay, but multiple times during the day, I played stuff and had no idea what it did. No idea.
What's bad is he helped build the deck.
Yeah. But, as we stated, or I guess we didn't state this, I haven't played Standard in like 2 months. So, like, I have no idea what's going on with that format. So I was just playing cards. I'm like, oh, these look like good things. Half reading my own cards. They're in my hand. I only read half of them.
He could not pilot my deck. I guarantee it.
No, probably not. Like, I know the concept of the deck. But as far as, like, piloting it goes, probably not.
This is why I did better than Will.
That's a comment we actually don't really hear very often.
Yeah, but that's because normally I play jank and you actually play a good deck and somehow you draw, which you need to.
Yeah. Muffin button?
Yeah. I mean, occasionally I top deck cards that I really need to. Like, you know what? I really need Teamer Battle Rage here. Hey, win the game.
Yeah.
It's generally just Teamer Battle Rage when I do that.
No.
But I got the combo off.
Yeah.
How many times did I get a combo? Like
5?
5?
Yeah.
I think 5 times during the day with Jeskai Panharmicon.
Super trolling.
And every time I did, my opponent was like, wait, what are you doing?
Judge.
There was a few opponents that were like, you have enough for combo now, don't you? I'm like, yeah, there's these 3 artifacts here. I have a lot of energy.
I love that guy who actually called a judge on you for your combo. It was great.
Can I respond with Hardest Lightning so he doesn't get the tokens? Well, the 1,000 Thopters are already on the stack, so no. I mean, you can kill the thing again, which he was already doing. He was actually exiling the dude, and then decided to kill it with Hardest Lightning instead.
Nice.
To try and stop Thopters.
Nice. Did you make more Thopters?
I thought 1,000 was enough.
Oh, okay. 1,000's fine. All right, that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And then you got your like smash in the face.
Well, I mean, he burned me with a Chandra ult, so
Sad.
if he didn't play that one extra spell, I would have swung back with a lot of Thoppers in the air.
All right, lesson learned.
Lesson also learned. Blue-white flash is like my worst matchup.
Lesson learned. Did you guys know that Stasis Snare is better if you play it on your opponent's turn and not on your own turn? And did you know that Stasis Snare cannot hit a Smuggler's Copter if it is on your turn and not your opponent's turn?
Unless they crew it to block.
I learned that out. I was like, oh, Stasis Snare. This is an Oblivion Ring. Played it. My opponent said, okay, so you're going to exile my Thraben Inspector? And I was like, no, you're Yep. Exiling your Thraben Inspector. That's what I'm doing.
No. We had this discussion on why we were putting Stasis Snare in there, because it's instant speed removal.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Instant speed
right. Mm-hmm.
removal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. I remember.
Yeah. This is why I purposely made an emphasis, like, we need to stack all the, as much instant speed removal as possible. Not sorcery speed. Like, let's not load up on 3 Deccan Stones and, all these Ruinous Paths, because they're terrible.
Right.
In the meta.
Yeah, no, I remember that, but, like, in my mind, right, my opponent was tapped out. And I'm like, ah, yes.
And see, this is why vehicles are bad, because people like him misread board states.
So, moving on. But yeah, we had fun at the PPTQ.
Yeah.
It was okay.
So
none of us made money, but it was okay.
Going forward, we'll probably just tweak our decks a little bit more.
And as I get used to the deck, I think it'll be a lot better. Like I feel it really was just me being super cool to the format and me not reading cards.
Yeah. I feel like I just need something to replace Fireworker's Puzzle Knot.
Yeah, and it seems a little clunky.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just the payoff is like next to nothing at all times.
That's fair.
At least with Cog Workers and Glassblowers. Glassblower, I'm getting energy and Scry, which is always huge. Especially if I could do it like on my upkeep and like, yeah, here's the card I need to win the game. Let's go. In Cog Workers, it deals like on its own, it's 2 damage with a Fireweaver. If I have Panharmicon, that number like all of a sudden just starts getting stupid.
Sure.
Like the more Panharmicons I have, and the more Fireweavers I have, then for 2 mana, I'm dealing way too much damage than I should be. Whereas Fireworkers, it's like 1 and 1 at the most. It seems like it's not very significant.
I can understand.
So
that.
if I can find like a decent low drop creature or another decent ETB artifact, then maybe that would take the spot. But
who knows? If you have suggestions, let us know.
I'll probably, or I can, just cut them out entirely, put in a 4th Reflector Mage, and then 2 of something else.
It's not a bad idea. Reflector Mages is really strong right now.
Or 4th Puzzle Knots of the other 2.
Just play Addison.
She's top of my curve, and yeah, I'd rather just play Gideon.
There you go. That's an idea. Play 3 Gideons, just jam it,
and then all of a sudden the price of my deck, goes up like 1,000,000%.
Yeah, because your deck is under $100, right?
My deck is under 20.
Oh. Well, 1 Gideon.
Okay, maybe 30 when counting the land base.
I was about to say, I thought Panharmonicon was like a few dollars now, like $5 now.
Not 5, no.
No?
Maybe like 2.
All right.
Maybe.
All right.
But like as Lyle put it, the deck is draft shaft.
That's fair.
Yes, that math is correct. That's why it gets stupid really fast.
That's fair.
Yeah. Whirler Virtuoso, 3 Panharmicons, and enough energy to make 6 Thopters with 2 Fireweavers out. That's 24 damage. That's fantastic. You make your opponent cry.
I'm pretty happy with the Mardu Sisters list.
Yeah, like I said, it just needs some minor tweaks. I think it'll be okay.
I think it did very well, even with like my sloppy piloting. and misplays. It did well. I went against Delirium. I went against Marvel. I went against Blue White. Went against Grixis. And went against Mardu Vehicle Splashing Blue for Fevered Visions. Smash that deck. Blew that deck out of the water, dude.
He was 1-4.
Yeah.
I was 2-3.
Yeah. The game that I blew my opponent out of the water was against the Mardu Vehicles. Which is nice. The fact that I blew that deck out of the water says there's something.
The sheer fact that you ate 2 Fevered Visions
Yeah,
as a control deck is huge.
Yeah, my opponent goes game 2 Fevered Visions. I go Fragmentize. Then 2 turns later plays another Fevered Visions. I go Nahiri Downtick? Question mark. My opponent goes, yeah, you got it. And I was like, cool. That was
Let's continue to play the game and have you cry because you're running out of gas.
Because now I have a full grip of kill spells, and you can only play one guy. At one point, my opponent had 2 Smuggler's Copter and the Cultivator Caravan. Finally played a guy, activated or crewed his Thopter. I killed it. He used it to crew the other Smuggler's Copter. I killed that one. Then he was like, all right, crew my Caravan. And I was like, all right, you can punch me in the face for 5. That's okay. Next turn, I'm going to kill you.
Considering now you have no power to crew that Caravan.
Yeah, now there's pretty much anything you drop is not powering that Caravan right now.
So, I mean, control definitely can, beat the snot out of aggro. Well, vehicle-based aggro, if you just keep it off the board.
Yeah.
I mean, if you keep dudes off the board to crew the vehicles, or at least the power discrepancy, yeah, you can have a crew 3 vehicle as long as you only have, 8th Raven Inspector left.
Sure.
I don't care, And that's the biggest thing I think about this standard is a lot of people just can't read board states. They can't evaluate, actually how much damage is on board and how many creatures are actually on board.
I do want to say that Liliana is an MVP. 100% MVP.
Yeah. This guy's now too tiny to crew a copter.
Yeah, this guy's super tiny. Or even, I was against an opponent who was using Westville Abbey to make guys.
And you're like... Boop.
And I was like, nope, it's dead. And that one's dead too.
And basically all you're doing is siphon yourself with 1 life just so I can kill a token.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I'm okay with that. You can keep doing that. I'll just keep mana back to actually kill your guys.
Especially since he's spending 5 mana and a life to make a dude that's just going to die to Liliana.
It was pretty great.
The only way that's profitable is if you just have a stupid board state and you're just trying to maintain it.
Yeah, he had no board state. 0 creatures, a Smuggler's Copter, and he just kept...
Terrible.
Yeah, it was actually pretty... I felt bad for the guy.
Alright. I think that's enough standard for now.
I agree. That makes me queasy to talk about standard that long.
So let's move to modern. So there was a GP.
There was a GP.
Dallas-Fort Worth. And I will say this is the reason why I love modern as a format. Because Shred Red won a GP.
Hashtag Scred Lives Matter. That hashtag has been going around on a lot of the Magic forums here recently. I find it hysterical. For a while, we thought Scred was kind of a dead deck. And to be honest with you, in my opinion, it's not the highest in the power curve. It is a very kind of basic style of playing.
It's like Burn.
But it's flavorful. You play all of the snow-covered mountains. You play Koth the Hammer. You play 4 Blood Moon's main deck.
Well, I mean, that just shuts, a lot of decks off.
Yeah, so...
Why not?
It's not a bad deck. Don't get me wrong. I'm actually shocked that it did place first.
And I mean, that's what I was going to say. I love modern. It's not one of the top 16 archetypes that you normally name for modern, as in, this is what defines the format. This is the meta. And then you have a fringe deck over here. I'm Scred. I win. How?
No one really prepares for Scred. Scred used to be super, super popular. Nowadays, it's just kind of, it went from like here, and then it was kind of going, and then like had a small spike, and then like just dropped, right? Like Scred players went almost non-existent, and I think that's kind of why this player was able to kind of sneak in there, as people forgot this was a deck.
What I found funny was like I saw a post on some other site and it goes, "Why in the hell did my scrying sheets? Is that the card?
Yeah, scrying sheets.
Scrying sheet went from $5 to $15 like overnight."
Yeah.
And somebody's like, "Look at the GP." He's like, "Oh, sweet! I'm glad I picked 2 of those up before that. Sweet."
Yeah. The deck is super fun. Like, I've got nothing against the deck at all. I think that any deck that plays 4 Blood Moons main board is going to have a really good chance in the meta. Now, obviously, it has a bad matchup against Burn, and has a bad matchup against Infect. Or
Yeah.
not Infect, but Affinity.
Yeah.
But other than that, the deck is just solid.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, that's another reason why I like Modern is my favorite format at the moment, just because the meta is so diverse and you can win with rogue decks.
Sure. And
Rogue.
You know, that's something I want to talk about. Affinity is actually something I've not seen a lot of recently.
I mean, there's still plenty of people playing it. It's just not been like there was a period of time where it was like every top 8 there was at least 1 to 2 Affinity decks.
Yeah, and you know, as a fish
It
player,
was the big green, like the big mean monster that everybody had to worry about, and then Dredge came in, and everybody's like, "We gotta hate out Dredge," and then other decks have been winning.
Excuse me.
Like I think everybody still dedicates like 8 cards to Dredge and Affinity, and that's the reason why Affinity hasn't been winning.
And you know, that's fair. And as Merfolk players, we have to respect the we have to respect the Affinity matchup. Like, it's just one of our worst matchups. Period. However, like even as a Merfolk player, going to these Grand Prix and going to these Opens that we've been going to, I personally have not matched up against an Affinity player. And
I have, but not when I was playing Merfolk.
And I'm just like, where are all the Affinity players? Affinity is one of the top tier decks right now. In my opinion, Infect is the top tier deck. Infect is a top tier deck with the highest skill curve in Modern right now. And the reason I say it's the highest skill curve is it's not because like the cards are super complex, but the combos and sequencing of the cards are super complex.
Yeah.
You
to make sure you hit 11 as fast as possible, and like how to efficiently get there.
Consistently on turn 3.
Yeah.
Because you know, if you're an Infect and you're going past turn 3, you're having a bad time. But definitely the deck is super strong right now. If you're an Infect player, you should be having the time of your life. If you're not an Infect player and you're thinking about building an Infect deck, I highly recommend it and push you towards that direction.
If you're playing green at all, just stock up on Malaria, you're fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And like
just protect her away from Dismember, you'll be good.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do.
Yay.
Alright, let's read some of the comments. What do we got here?
Yeah, I can believe that Infect was the most played deck.
Yeah. Yeah, Infect is super strong.
I know, like, the couple times I saw stream, it was like every time on stream there was, like, an Infect deck. Just on camera.
I mean, you ask Todd, the boss Ross, and, you know, he's going to tell you, play Infect all day. He plays it in Modern and he plays it in Legacy.
Yeah.
But, Scred, 1, that's important. Having a non-meta deck win a Grand Prix for a format like Modern is huge. And talk about fringe decks winning big events. I want to kind of spiral this straight into another big event that we haven't really talked about, but we're going to start talking about them.
Yeah.
Legacy. Legacy.
Yeah.
Eternal Extravaganza for US.
Yes.
The deck that won that event, they won, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The deck that won that event was Turbo Depths.
Yes.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yes, Andy. There's a chance for your Goblin deck to win a GP.
Yeah, Andy.
Or any other random deck that you or I decide to brew.
Andy, here's the deal. Just turn all of your mountains into snow mountains and run 4 of Scred in your deck. Keep it Goblins. Just have the Scred package in there. I think that'd be great. I think all mono red decks actually just need to be that burn needs to just turn them all into snow-covered mountains and run spread. Why? What is the harm? What is the harm? There's not. You're right. Good job, Will. Great thinking.
Terrible. Anyways, Turbo Depths. It was interesting that one being that it's always been like that weird fringe deck that never really quite got there.
Sure, and I mean, and Lands is definitely a deck.
Yeah, but I mean, I forget the name of the player that won, but like he just went for uber redundancy with the deck, so he had like consistent flood the board with 2020 tokens. I mean, I think it's fantastic that you can turn 2 with that card. Urborg, Dark Depths, Vampire Hexmage. Congratulations, 2020.
Yeah, why not?
And then the use of Thespian Stage as well to get your tokens as well is fantastic. And it was just like a very, very redundant in what it was trying to do, so it was super effective at doing that, and it's very hard.
And very little interaction.
Well, but the bonus is it's very hard for your opponents to be able to interact with that and destroy what you're doing.
Because what is the worst thing that's going to happen? They are going to Swords to Plowshare, you're a Merit Liege, you gain 20 life, and you're probably going to have another Dark Depths coming up.
Yeah.
Because...
You've only wasted 1 Dark Depth. You still have 3 more and 4 Thespian Stages.
Yeah. And now you're up 20 life.
Yeah.
So now you have 40 life to work with. You're playing Commander. But it is just super fast. Was very impressed that this deck won.
Especially since it won against I think 2 Miracle decks, and there's a really good Delver deck in there.
To be fair, I think Miracles is a little bit too slow for Turbo Depths. There's just nothing they can do. Miracles wants to draw the game out and get the top lock with counterbalance. There's nothing to lock down. You can't respond to land drops. Just, you're not allowed.
Yep.
So I don't really think there's anything Miracles can do here. Delver, I mean, I guess you could throw up some Delvers, Noble Mongooses, depending on what color you're running.
I'm just saying there was a lot of your standard decks that normally do win these events, or you'll see 4 or 5. I've seen some where it was 5 Miracle decks in the top 8.
Sure.
As annoying as that sounds.
I definitely think we've actually been seeing the deck Lurin plays a lot of these events as well. So seeing kind of another deck start topping instead of it just being one consistent deck is really nice to see. Kind of shows the power shift that there is in Legacy. Not one deck can control the meta, even though some people like to think that it can. Legacy is very diverse, and I'm excited to see what we can actually get going in that. For those who don't know, we're actually starting up a Legacy play at our LGS.
Yes.
Which is why we're going to start talking about it. Mike and I have built Legacy decks. We are going to be traveling to a lot more Opens and GPs for Legacy events as well. I know there's been a lot of cutting of
support for Legacy. I mean, I know for most it's kind of a hard format for most people to get into just due to price barrier.
Yeah.
But at the same time though, you do need to make it accessible for those players who do enjoy those formats.
And actually, with Star City pulling away from supporting as many Legacy tournaments, that's going to happen they're going to have to start selling off some of their product. So that's actually going to bring the price of Legacy cards down a little bit, which is good. Makes it a little bit more accessible for players. There's a company that has started up kind of their own version of IQs for Legacy events. And players can earn rewards and get invites to their invitationals that they're going to start hosting.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to see more of these bigger stores that are doing more tournament support.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, initially all you think of is Star City and
Channel
Wizards.
Fireball.
And Channel Fireball. TCG Player
does
have their circuit of, regionals and stuff that they're doing. So, I think any little organizer, not even necessarily does it have to be a store, but anybody that's willing to try and show some support for the tournaments, you can kind of diversify the area too. More events is better, period.
I agree. The more events we can have players be able to play, the more fun the players are going to have.
And the community is just going to grow from there, just for more exposure.
Exactly. The stronger the community gets, that can even draw in new players. And honestly, when talking to new players, I actually like to try to talk them into Modern and Legacy. And the reason I like to talk new players into Modern and Legacy is like, hey guys, this is a format that is eternal.
Yeah.
In Swords. That's why we call them the eternal formats. Like, your deck's not going to rotate out. You know, as a shop owner now, like, I want to convince you guys, I want to convince customers and new people to come in and help them build whatever they want.
That way they have to buy it. They buy a deck.
Yeah.
And they can keep playing that deck.
Exactly.
Whereas, you know, and I explain this to a lot of people, it's just like for standard, yeah, the barrier entry in that's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
However, the maintenance cost of that maintaining that deck is what's going to kill you. Like,
you're gonna drop an initial 400 if you want a nice, solid, competitive standard deck. Generally, now it's a little bit less because we no longer have fetches and stuff in it. So you know you're looking at around $300 because of smuggler copters right now. Gear
if you want top tier, but I mean
yeah.
you can even go ultra budget and be fine and still play decently well.
But you know you're looking at over the next 6 months. Maintenance fees on that deck, it's going to run you another $200
because you're going to have to get the new cards. Period.
Yeah.
And whether you spend it on booster boxes or packs or just straight out buying singles or whatever, that's fine. And then come another 6 months, you've got another set.
Yeah.
And another set, and then eventually you're going to have to spend a lot more money because some of your stuff's rotated out by that point.
Yeah, then you keep, and it's just, it becomes a cycle, and you know, obviously, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, especially on my end of the thing, on my end of all of it now. But I want players to be happy, and honestly, it's easier for me to go, hey, here's a deck that you can play for however many X years you want to play this deck now, you know, ban list, you know, forbidding.
Yeah.
But here's a deck that you will not have to update unless you want to.
Yeah, it's just like, whenever a new set comes out, there might be a card that makes it better.
Maybe.
Like, Infect got Blossoming Defense.
Good card.
There you go. That was like the latest like major impact I saw on a modern deck.
But we had to spend 19 cents on that.
I'm sure it's gone up now, but like people that were smart enough to realize the value of that card day one, it was like, yeah, let me grab my playset for less than $1.
Yeah, it's just
this guy did.
But yeah, so when talking to new players, I'm like, hey, you know, obviously you have to be kind of cautious. Like, you don't want a player to buy a modern deck and then go up against all these veteran modern players and then just get smashed. And they're like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. But at the same time, like, it's the same principle for standard. And, like, there are a lot more casual players in standard format than there are in modern and in legacy formats. But I think modern is actually a little bit more forgiving in the long run. Where standard is, yes, forgiving, but just can be super brutal. So I like to go for eternal formats first, and then go, hey, if you like this, then consider standard.
Or I say, you know, do standard, and then honestly, when you start purging your stuff in standard, try to get pick up more modern stuff. That's what I've been doing. It's like I barely pick up any standard stuff anymore.
Sure.
It's like, here, let me pick up more modern stuff, for either modern staples or stuff that I know will move.
Yeah.
In modern, that'll keep its value. I get tired of this whole, you know, well, yeah, this card was 15, now it's down to like 5.
Yeah.
I mean, occasionally you get lucky the other way, but, you know, Smuggler's Copter, yeah, I'll get rid of my whole play set for those, for a Blood Moon and some modern Planeswalkers. That's cool.
Yeah, because Blood Moon's never going to drop unless they reprint it.
Yeah.
But, like,
I don't think they're going to reprint it. Unless it's for Modern Masters 3.
But they already reprinted it in Modern Masters 1, didn't they? No. Yes. No. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's not going to happen.
Yeah. So,
I'm
fine with my 8th edition
We're lucky
Blood
if we
Moon.
get...
Thank you, Adam.
We're lucky if we get fetches before we get another Blood Moon reprint.
Let's see. They're supposed to be going up to, what, Innistrad on this next one? So maybe?
We're not going to Innistrad.
No, like Innistrad, the original block Innistrad cards will be up for reprint in Modern Masters 3.
Oh, yeah.
I think. I thought that's what I heard. So it's like, oh, we may see a Snapcaster reprint or a Lily of the Veil reprint.
We need those too.
Yep.
Lily of the Veil and Snapcaster have always been sitting really high.
What is this post, Andy?
I'm actually scared. This is a Facebook link.
Of course, I opened in the wrong window.
Rip.
Rip.
I'm scared.
Ah, that is the store that is doing the Legacy series.
Great. Thanks, Andy. So yeah.
Yep. Eternal Extravaganza satellite series. From Tales of Adventure.
But kind of going back on that real quick, stores like Haruya and
Doing the Frontier format.
a lot of stores and big companies have been stepping up to the plate here and saying, hey, Star City, Channel Fireball, Pastimes, it's okay. We'll start stepping up as well. Wizards of the Coast, give us a chance. Let us prove that we can do stuff as well.
Yeah.
And it's great. I think it's fantastic. The fact that all these other stores are getting big enough now where we can have multiple companies supporting things instead of it all being on Star City's shoulders or it all being on Channel Fireball's shoulders.
Or just all on Wizards.
Yeah. The fact that we actually have this support now in this community shows that Magic is growing and flourishing more now than it has in a long time. Speaking of which, the Frontier format.
Yeah, Frontier, I think, is a really great idea for those people that don't necessarily like the fast-pacedness of Modern, but don't like the rotation of Standard.
Yeah.
So if you haven't heard about this, definitely check it out. There's a huge subreddit, but it's hosted by Haruya and Big Magic. It's a format where it's eternal, non-rotating, starting from N15, going onward. So you get to play with all your cool fetches, or at least half of them anyway.
The cons fetches.
Yeah, the cons fetches. And like right now, since it's only cons block, origins, battle, shadows, Kaladesh. The main decks we've seen so far were decks that were like from cons with the 4-color stuff, and people have using the crap out of that.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, though, we didn't see a whole lot of like rally decks in the top 16 of Haruya's big initial tournament for it.
Yeah.
There's only 1 rally deck and only 3 company decks.
Really?
And none of them top 8.
Wow.
I don't think any of them top 8.
But I mean, that's fair. This format opens itself to kind of allow a lot of flexibility. We've talked about for a long time. We've been brewing decks constantly in our chat group for this format, and we're like, we could do this, we can do this, we can pair Jeskai Ascendancy combo again. We're looking at all the stuff in Kaladesh that we can pair with stuff from Cons of Takir and Fate Reforged that normally would not be thought of at all, period, because if you try any of this in Modern, you're just going to get, like, your face stomped in.
Yeah.
And if you try any of this in Legacy, that's not going to happen anyway, in any shape or fashion. So, like, unless you're doing, like, kitchen table Magic, these combos would never come up. And the fact that Haruya has created a format to allow that thought process and diversity back to Magic the Gathering is fantastic.
Yeah.
Honestly, brewing decks is a lot of fun. Mike does it constantly. Mike has a lot of fun with it. Our another teammate of ours, Jeremy, you guys met him last stream.
Yeah.
He also enjoys brewing deck lists as well. We enjoy sitting and going, hey, will this combo actually work out the way we want it to? Or like, can we actually abuse this? But I'm also excited that I get to play Tassiger again.
I'm trying to do the I like my combo kill decks with I mean, with Modern, me playing Death Shadow Aggro and Immolating Soul Eater, which is like the exact same thing, except in different colors and just doing even more stupid crap.
Sure.
So it's like, well, let me pair my two favorite cards of Become Immense and Teamer Battle Rage, since they were the same block. Let me keep using those. So let's see if Jund Delve can do anything.
Eternal Masters 2016. I don't know. I don't believe.
We're getting another Modern Masters first.
Yeah, we're getting another Modern Masters before we get Eternal Masters. Modern Masters will be 2017. They haven't announced release dates for that yet. That'll happen towards the beginning of the year, I'm sure.
Probably at PAX East.
Probably.
Normally that's when they do the big, what was it, PAX Prime, they did all the announcements for the latter half of this year.
Yeah. So at PAX East, we should get an announcement on what the block layout for the first half of the year is going to be.
Something like that. Oh, it's like, here's all your releases for the next 4 months.
Yeah, until we get to PAX
Over the
Prime,
summer.
and then PAX Prime will announce the rest of it.
Yeah.
We will get Modern Masters before we get Eternal Masters. My predictions in Modern Masters are that we get probably a Snap reprint, possibly a Lily reprint.
Mm-hmm.
We hopefully will get Fetchland reprints.
And probably Goblin Guide.
We'll probably get a Goblin Guide. There was talk about Goblin Guide being printed in this last Modern Masters. And
Like I said, it should be up through Innistrad, so
yeah.
What was the last one? What's probably stopped at New Phyrexia?
We
had
had Mox in it. I know
and
that.
Mox and Spellskite.
Yeah, so it probably stopped at New Phyrexia. So we're gonna get Zendikar through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be good. We're going to Zendikar. We're going through Innistrad. So we should pick up fetches. We should pick up a Snapcaster.
I would love
We
fetches.
should pick up a Liliana. It'll be nice to kind of see the enemy fetch lands kind of come down.
Mm-hmm.
But at that being said, fetch lands are going to start increasing incrementally now. And so are cons boosters, and so are con booster boxes for that matter. We've already seen it a little bit. Cons shifted up in prices. And fetch lands have just now stabilized. They're not dropping anymore.
Mm.
But now that cons is out of standard and we're kind of away from all of the shenanigans.
And that's mostly out of print now too, isn't it?
Yeah, cons is now out of print. So these
prices are
going to start kind of slowly incrementing up. So if you don't have your playset of cons fetches, get them now. While they're still $12 a piece.
Yeah, I think the most expensive Polluted Delta 15.
Yeah. So definitely pick up your playset of cons fetches. They're the cheapest they're ever going to be. Pick them up now. You'll regret it later.
Yeah.
That's Will's advice for the night.
Alright, so a new legacy with no reserve list cards.
That is terrible.
I have no opinion.
I think that
I'm barely into Legacy as it is, and the Legacy decks I have Burn, I'm building Legacy flips. I am just there to play Magic.
okay. So what you're saying is a legacy format where no dual lands.
So extended Modern.
Yeah, it's kind of like extended Modern. I feel like you're still kind of. I think it'd still be rough. Because, I mean, you'd still have to deal with stupid broken combos like Flash, Protean, Hulk.
Same time, though, the cost would be significantly less.
So you're reducing the cost of the decks just because you removed the land base?
I guess.
I mean, to be fair, that's one of the main things. That's one of the only main things that it would hit. You would get Nether Void out of that. I think Nether Void's on the reserved list. You get Tabernacle, but that's a land. You would get. I don't think it would really hurt the format. I think it would just be kind of redundancy. You just have to use shocks again, so it just becomes an extended Modern format, like Mike said. I don't know. I'm not.
I'd rather
I'm not crazy
experiment
about
with
that.
stuff with Frontier.
Yeah, I would rather play a Frontier format or something like that. Over.
It might be Frontier seems a little kind of short. And just because there's not a whole lot of cards, there's not
I
like
wish it went to Theros. God, I wish it went to Theros.
or like M14. Now, what if we could play something that was in between? What if, and I know this was projected before even Frontier was even mentioned, but I think, what was it, Modern, like essentially, instead of starting all the way back to, what is it, 7th edition?
8th.
8th edition? You start it at, like, M10, and then that way you get rid of a lot of the busted cards, like Blood Moon. And
I could see that.
And you lose the Tron lands too, right?
You lose Tron lands.
Would you lose... You wouldn't lose Phyrexian stuff, though, would you?
Burn would get Price of Progress, and the format would revolve around that. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough.
But anyways, when did Phyrexia come out?
Phyrexia came after M10 for sure.
Okay. Because that would be the only other thing I would worry, like, that's the only other major busted thing in Modern.
Affinity?
Well, it's more of the Phyrexian spells,
Yeah.
Tron lands, and then, like, Blood Moon.
Yeah, so, like... if
That's,
you...
like, the major, like, this is unfair, because lots of, Blood Moon shuts off entire decks.
Sure.
Phyrexia Mana lets you just, like, that would shut down, like, Death Shadow aggro, Thing Ascension, or, like, any deck that wants to, like, kill you with Kiln Fiend turn 3.
Sure.
And, I mean, you kill off Infect.
I think it's interesting to kind of see where Magic is taking a turn, where people are trying to come up with these new formats.
Well, I mean, it's just showing the community is now growing large enough that, and people are heavily invested into it now, too, that they don't want to just, like, up and quit and stop playing Magic. They're like, okay, well, yeah, I've got an idea. And then enough people go, you know what, I like that idea. Let's do this.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, Perugia had a 300-plus tournament for Frontier.
Yeah.
And that was probably just mostly just Japan. Now imagine if they partnered with Star City or started just doing stuff stateside and said, let's do major tournament in the major metro areas.
Yeah.
And, then all of a sudden you start seeing stores try to support this as well. And then, you start establishing a meta and stuff like that. Especially since the meta will diversify as well as more sets are released.
And that's actually why Frontier was made, because in Japan, Modern is actually not a thing. Modern is pretty much non-existent in Japan.
It's pretty much legacy and standard.
And they're like, you know what? We want a format that people would enjoy. So they decided to go with Frontier. And as we stated earlier, I think it's a good format. It seems a little bit short, like you said. It seems a little bit short. I wish they would have made it extend out to Theros, not just for personal reasons, but kind of expands.
You want to play your heroic deck, don't
No, I want to play Whip and Nene. That's what I really want to play.
Yeah.
But that would expand it a little bit, give some flexibility with, like, Elspeth, Ashiok.
You get Thoughtseize.
Thoughtseizes. Kind of brings back some of these really good staple cards
Mm.
that were super played. And kind of
Whip.
And would allow a lot of free play and free form.
Yeah, I mean, getting Whip back would, like, because there's not really, like, a good enough reanimator
No,
ability.
but like
Because
the
most of your reanimate spells are, like, 5.
Yeah, but zombie decks with Whip of Erebos would be pretty insane. I think that would have been a lot of fun, to be honest with you.
Mm.
Let's see here. What about a 6-month no ban cards in Modern, then start banning after that to reset the ban list? So this has been talked about for a long time. People want to kind of see what would happen to Modern if everything gets unbanned. Honestly, I'm okay with it. I think there are a lot of cards that are on the ban list that ought not to be on the ban list. One of those cards being Jace the Mind Sculptor. I'm not even a big blue player in Modern. I think Jace the Mind Sculptor is super easy to deal with now.
Being that he's easily multiple.
Yeah, there are so many cards that have gotten printed after his release to deal with Planeswalkers specifically. There's enough aggro in the meta to deal with Jace the Mind Sculptor, so he will get 1 turn, that's all. And honestly, if you play Jace the Mind Sculptor on turn 4, whenever you can like actually cast him, you're either going to be close to being dead or Jace is going to immediately die. There is no reason for Jace the Mind Sculptor to be banned. However, with that being said, if you unban Jace the Mind Sculptor, you're probably going to have to unban like Deathrite Shaman or something like that. And Deathrite Shaman does have a reason for being banned. That card was insane. However, he does keep a check on Dredge decks, but there's also a lot of cards that can hate on Dredge decks. I would be interested to really see what comes out of a 6-month ban.
Or 6 month no ban.
Yeah, 6-month no ban.
I mean, you see Splinter Twin skyrocket again, and people would be like, "I'm so glad I kept my Splinter Twin."
Cody Hudson would be ecstatic because he would now be sitting on a pile of money because Splinter Twin would go through the roof.
Yep.
As an example, Sword of the Meek was unbanned and no one noticed. So
I mean, it was like Golgari Grave Trolls got unbanned, and then like Dredge didn't shoot off until they were like, "Oh."
Sword of the Meek, people did notice it get unbanned. As soon as it was unbanned, people started trying to brew Thopter Sword combo. It did not work as much as people thought it was going to. People got super excited. They're like, yeah, Sword Thopter combo, we can do it. And it was too slow for Modern and got pooped on.
I know I beat it the one time. I just started playing that shit back.
Yeah.
Rakdos Charm, you're Sword of the Meek.
So it wasn't the fact that it wasn't noticed. It was the fact that
It made no ripple in the meta.
Yeah, people were like, yeah, let's try this. Those prices skyrocketed because everyone bought them out. And then they just kind of fell off. Same thing with Ancestral Visions. Ancestral Visions skyrocketed through the roof when they came off the ban list. That was the most ridiculous thing to come off the ban list in a long time. We saw the influx with Nahiri lists running it. And a bunch of other blue decks were like, oh yeah, we get Ancestral Visions now.
Like Scape Shift, I think, is like the only thing that plays it.
Now. Because everyone's like, oh, well, Ancestral Visions is actually super, super slow.
It's really only really good if you can cascade into it, I think.
I agree. And really, you're not going to be cascading into it because Shardless Agent is not a thing in Modern. It's not played in Modern at all.
Blood Parade's man, so... Blood Parade would not be a bad card to unban.
In some ways, yes. In some ways, no.
I don't think Jun's really gonna bother.
No, I think Jun's kind of got a solid list now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think. I guess the same argument for Bloodbraid could be made with, or same argument for Jace could be made with Bloodbraid. Bloodbraid was super scary at the time, but now there's so many more answers for it. Like, people don't really realize how many answers have been printed from Zendikar on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of diversity that's been added to the format, and it's just a lot of these cards are underwhelming now. Like, yes, they had to emergency ban Jace in Standard and in Modern. Like, that has happened a handful of times in Standard history. But now we're just keeping Jace on the ban list for the sake of keeping him on the ban list, and there's no reason for that, guys. Like, Liliana of the Veil is still unbanned, and she is arguably one of the most influential planeswalkers in Modern right now, next to Karn, next to Ugin the Spirit Dragon.
I mean, really, those are the only 3 planeswalkers that scare me.
Yeah, because honestly, I'm sorry, Ugin the Spirit Dragon and Tron being able to play that on turn 4 is just like, alright, well, thanks, the game's now over, because you're just going to exile all of my permanents. There's no point in me trying to fight against a Karn. Or, not an Ugin. Karn, he's gonna get to blow up something.
He's gonna remove whatever key threat you had.
Yeah, like, Karn is dealable. Like, in my opinion, it goes Liliana, Ugin, Karn. Karn is the least terrifying of those 3, just because he can blow one thing up. One thing. Ugin can blow up multiple permanents, and Liliana is just savage to a lot of the... I mean, she's a 3-drop planeswalker, and her, like, power spike is through the roof.
Well, I mean, normally by that point, like, the decks that are playing Liliana already had up a lot of removal, so they just remove whatever else you have, and then it's like, okay, the one thing I couldn't remove, sack it.
Like, turn 1 Bob, turn 2 Tarmogoyf, turn 3 Liliana. What are you gonna do? Like...
Cry.
Honestly, what is there to do at that point? There's the power spike in those 3 cards alone. Just kind of, you're like, alright, I don't want to play Magic anymore. Thanks. Jund doesn't need more cards.
That's what I'm saying with Bloodbraid. I don't think they would bother putting Bloodbraid in.
I think more decks like Living End would adapt that card.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Living End's a great deck. I play it. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that they just really need to unban a lot of cards, and just kind of see what happens. If Splinter Twin, I don't think Splinter Twin should be on the ban list either. That didn't make any sense. I don't think Splinter Twin needs to be on the ban list either. There we go.
What about Birthing Pod?
Okay. I'm okay with him unbanning Birthing Pod as well. Okay, here's my reasoning behind this. Splinter Twin, everyone's like, turn 4, they Splinter Twin and combo off. Look, if you're against a Splinter Twin player, it's pretty obvious you're against a Splinter Twin player. Alright? If you are stupid enough to not have Splinter Twin hate in your sideboard, then you deserve to lose. If you are stupid enough to not have any answers for them on turn 3, turn 4, when they try to flash in their guy and turn 4 Splinter Twin, if you don't have an answer for that, then it's your fault for not being prepared for that. Like, I'm sorry, Beast Within is a card for green players.
Yeah.
All the counter magic in blue.
Mm-hmm.
Path to Exile in white. Dismember for all the decks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry, you cannot tell me that there is no way.
No way.
She said there is no way. And stuff like Torpor Orb.
Yeah.
And other cards that exist in Modern. Hushwing Gryph. If you're an elf player, you can Court of Calling that thing up. Like, Splinter Twin is not that terrifying. It's terrifying if you don't set up for it.
Yeah.
And if you don't set up for it and you're not prepared for it, that's your fault as a Magic player,
Definitely.
not the card's fault.
Yeah.
Same thing for Birthing Pod.
But I only have 75 cards.
Oh, man. So, in your 75 cards in Modern, you couldn't find 2 cards to deal with that? No way.
That's because I'm bad at Magic. I play non-interactive decks.
Oh, okay. So let's blame Splinter Twin.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to play fair Magic. I all of a sudden trying to kill you with a Death Shadow.
Tybalt? Oh, dude. Tybalt needs to be played in every deck. He's so aggressively costed.
I almost...
Oh my gosh, please tell me you actually almost put him in the Planeswalker deck.
I thought about it, but I don't think he can ult as soon as you play him.
Oh my gosh, what does Tybalt's ult even do?
I can't even remember. It wasn't even worthwhile mentioning.
Dude, just play Tybalt with Doubling Season out, and then uptake him. That'd be great, dude. Oh my gosh.
Oh, by the way, that is what I'm working towards in Modern. I'm like 85% of the way done.
Yeah, it's great. He's building Doubling Season Walkers.
I think I only need technically 5 cards left of the deck. Not counting sideboard. Sideboard's going to need a little bit of work.
That's fair.
But, I mean, that I can do. But main board, I only need 5 cards.
That's pretty good, though.
Yeah.
I mean, and what, 3 of those are Doubling Seasons?
Yes, 3 doubling seasons. I need 3.
Let us know if you have Doubling Seasons, guys. We'll pick them up.
And then I need a Tameo, and I think we're still short on Nahiri.
Okay.
I think.
I mean...
No, it was Nissa I'm short.
Nissa. Okay, Voices in... Or, yeah, Voices, yeah.
So I may be short one more. We may be short in Nahiri if we can't find that 4th.
So, gain control of all creatures until end of turn, untap them, they gain haste until end of turn. Oh. That's not good.
That might be sideboard against, like, Bushwhacker Zoo. Or turn 2 tokens.
Okay. Alright, Mike. So...
One, I mean, that'd be great. Tybalt Smash.
I have to tell you guys. The local players at the LGS...
Hate him playing Commander.
If you don't know,
hate him playing Commander.
If you don't know, our LGS has a lot of Commander players at it. A lot. We generally we have about 25 Commander players.
Yeah, it was scarier when they were all at the shop at one time.
Yes.
Like Saturdays and Sundays, it'd just be like there's like 4 Commander pods.
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying.
It's scaled down a little bit since then. Or like there would be like frequently 9 to 11 player games.
Yeah,
it's no longer quite there. But I mean, there's still a
lot of players.
Sizable Commander community.
So they were like, "Hey, Will, you need to play Commander with us. And I'm like, no, guys, I don't really...
You don't want him.
Commander, Commander's not really my format. You know, I'm not a huge fan of it.
So I'm going to make the rest of you not.
So, you know...
That's what he's saying.
Then I was told as a judge from our L2 that as a judge, I have to play Commander. And I said, okay. And
then stopped me from telling Lyle no.
And then the players in my store kept bugging me and bugging me and bugging me. So, you know what? I said, all right, fine. So yesterday, I built a Commander deck. I built it in like an hour. All right?
Because he hates you.
Now, in this deck, I made it not so I would win, but specifically to just irritate the entire Commander pod until they all scoop. I restarted the game twice today.
Not because he needed to turn the tide of the game.
No, because I was winning.
I am already ahead. Let's just scoop, and then I start with a head start just to make you hate yourself more.
I had 5 Planeswalkers in play, and I said, you know what? I had 5 Planeswalker and Omniscience in play. And I said, you know what? Let's just restart the game with Karn. Why? Because I just wanted to keep it going. I wanted to keep the pain and misery going. I run stuff like Propaganda, so they have to pay to attack me. I run stuff like Arcane Laboratory, so they can only play 1 spell a turn. I run stuff like Winter Orb, so they can only untap 1 land a turn. Stasis is now going in the deck, so they skip their untapped step altogether. Oh yeah, it's great. This deck is going to be a ton of fun to troll people with. And I want you guys to all know that this is your fault. So this is my public service announcement. This is me saying...
Don't play Commander with him.
This is me saying, you guys asked for this. I'm now going to enjoy every single moment of it. You're welcome.
Terrible playing against you and Nick's deck.
Oh, that was great.
Between 2 whole games, I played 3 spells.
We,
3.
Nick Adam Sandler, was in the store, and between him and I, Mike got to play 3 spells because we had the board locked down.
Yeah.
And I kept blowing up all of Mike's lands. Because not only does my deck have all of those cards in it, it also runs 8 board wipes. 5 of those board wipes being land destructions as well. Why, you ask? Because I want you to be miserable while we're playing Commander.
It's decks like that the reason why I stopped playing Commander in our shop for a long period of time. Because I'm like, no. This isn't even...
This is redundant.
My deck is just me, like, look, I'm getting to play a few spells over here. I don't care what the rest of you are doing. I'm just going to play some spells and see what happens.
Yep.
I'm like a kid with, like, I don't know, just some sort of weird toy. It's just like, I don't know what it's going to do, but I'm going to shake it up really hard and then, like, throw it against the wall, see what happens.
Yes, Andy, I am definitely a monster. I'm sorry. This is y'all's fault.
I told him he needs to make it the four color by adding black in it.
No, because then no one will actually play with me.
Why? You just end the game a lot faster because you just go, here's a demonic pact. Lose. Get Starfield of Nyx, and then that way you can just bring it back out of your graveyard. Just like, give it to you.
So if you guys are curious on who my commander is,
Goat Man.
It is a goat. He is the Jeskai goat. His name is Zidur, I think.
Something like that.
He is...
From one of the original Commander decks?
Yeah. He is Jeskai color with 1 colorless. And I can pay a white, a blue, and a red, and give a permanent I control to another player. At the beginning of my upkeep, I get to draw X cards and gain X life, for where X is each permanent that an opponent controls. That is mine. So, I just play all of these really annoying spells like Winter Orb and Arcane Laboratory and Arcane Ruins and stuff like this and give them to my opponents, so now it's their problem. And
it still affects everybody, but
now I benefit off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty great. I've in the past couple of days.
Yes.
Zedru, yes. In the past couple of days, I've jammed out about 9 games with Zedru, and I have won about 6 of them. Nick has won 3 of them, and Jeremy has won 1.
Yep.
Yep, the great-hearted. Yeah, I just have a very big heart, Andy.
Again, I swear, you just need to get the altar done. And not with your fancy little background that you want. No, you just turn him into a Satan goat.
There we go.
Just red goat, just giant devil horns.
I'll have Jackie do the background and then have him Satan goat.
Pentagram in the background.
That'd be great.
Ugh.
All right. Well, we are at the end of our broadcast for the evening. That's kind of what's going on in our neck of the woods. We just wanted to kind of touch base with everyone and say, hey, that's what's going on. Make sure to look out for us at tournaments. We're going to be going to the Legacy event, the team event, in February.
Yeah.
That's going to be in Baltimore. It's going to be a teamed, constructed event, Standard, Modern, and Legacy. I'm going as our Legacy player. I've already claimed dibs.
I'll probably go with Modern just because Jeremy likes Standard a lot more.
So we'll throw Jeremy or Austin Roos as our Standard player.
Yeah.
And if we need to make another team, we will. I know Billy is talking about going as well. He wanted me to give him some more information on it. So we might be able to get a nice size pool from our local areas.
Cool.
And kind of go as a big group and go, hey, let's win this.
And then we face each other like round 3.
Rip. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in tonight.
We have not. You haven't said anything that indicated who you were.
Never.
Never.
No. But again, guys, thank you for tuning in tonight. We will see you guys all in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know why we meow all the time.
I don't know. Have a good